about business, finance, economics, and market on the Small Business Show with Keamogetswe Molaudi.
We are now in the month of August, celebrating Women's Month. And I think we can all share the same sentiment that in our beautiful country of South Africa, we come from a history where women were not privileged enough to tap into the professional space like men do. And past beyond that, we now have women tapping into the professional space to unleash their potential and raise their voice to be heard. And today on the show, we are joined by Keamogetswe Molaudi, a young black woman born in Hammanskraal. Keamogetswe began her career as a legal assistant and currently a candidate attorney. She serves in the directorate position of Head of Media and Transformation in the Fearless Azanian Lawyers Association, and she will be giving us a view into what is their actual experience within their legal profession as women, and also their Women's Day celebration this month on the 9th of August. Keamogetswe, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for the introduction, and greetings to all your listeners and followers of the platform.
Thank you. Let me start by saying a happy Women's Month to you.
Oh, thank you.
And so, Keamogetswe, I was actually looking into the history of where our country comes from with regards to, celebrating Women's Month. And so one of the things that I realized, one of the changes that I noticed, that I took out from where the women of 1956 was fighting for, is that there was a change in the equality of opportunities in employment. And so what I want to understand from you is what does it mean for you as a woman to now have the privilege to be considered the same as men when getting opportunities?
Well, yes, there was a slight, I would say it was a slight shift and a slight change, because I don't necessarily believe that women and men are equal in this day and age. And I wouldn't really classify it as a privilege per se that women are now given some opportunities in the same level as men, but it is rather rectifying a past injustice. Although arguably women possess numerous qualities that are essential to the success of the workplace, including their empathetic and caring nature, regardless of the efforts that they take and all that is done to celebrate women, their role in the workplace and society are still significantly unequal to those of men. Women are still unequal to men in terms of their ranks and also their payment. Now, there was a research that was conducted that showed that South Africa scores poorly when it comes to the number of women in executive positions, for instance. Women in South Africa have been experiencing gender-based discrimination for many years, especially when they are striving towards executive positions. Roughly about 68% of all senior management positions are held by women. Women make up 51% of the South African population, but only 20.7% of this are in JSE listed companies.
Yeah, and I was reading an online article on that yesterday saying that
Yes.
It was speaking mainly on the issue of women now being leaders in the corporate space of companies that are listed on the JSE. And so you are saying that you don't look at it as you don't look at this as a privilege, but you think that it is actually the right that women sort of like deserve. So just enlighten me on that. Why do you think it's not a privilege?
Yes, I was saying that it is more of a human right that we all equally deserve. It shouldn't even be classified as a privilege, as though it is only men that have the right to work or to be in certain positions. We all, by virtue of being humans, have the right to work and to hold certain positions according to our capabilities and abilities.
Okay, and you are saying that with where we are now, women are not yet fully into different spaces, are not fully participating in different spaces. What do you think it is a challenge for women to be fully participants in the different spaces in our country?
I believe that those people who are in positions of power, especially in the corporate spaces, should actually, because most of those people who are in power in corporate spaces are actually males. But I believe those males themselves should actually acclimatize themselves to the new constitutional dispensation and incorporate women into positions of leadership rather than just incorporating women in those technical positions to change their firm status or to get a BBE certificate or whatever that the firm would be, looking to achieve. But rather, they should look at women as being fully capable as their male counterpart, irregardless of their gender.
And so I think perhaps I may ask this question because from what you are saying, it seems as if like, and I don't know, let me put it this way. From what you're saying, I think you're saying that there still needs to be more work in terms of amplifying the issue of women being able to participate in our economy in South Africa. I think when we talk about the word march, the word protest, in a way it is actually an activity that people engage on, and now it's an activity that when people get to a point of protest, it's like, for a lack of better word, I would use the word fed up. It's when people are fed up. Now people are aggressive for what they want.
It is that. And in this case, with the women of 1956, there were more, we could say, for lack of a better word, fed up with the apartheid laws, specifically the past laws that the apartheid government wanted to impose on women. But in my personal view, I believe what was more significant is that the women of 1956 had actually stood up against the stereotype that it existed then and it still exists now, that women are not, we could say that women are politically immature or tied to the home. Maybe also that they're mostly that their role should be in the kitchen rather than being in politics. But however, those women changed the narrative. They showed that women can also stand and participate equally so in politics. And I believe it is those women of 1956 that actually put women in the map as far as the apartheid regime is concerned, because they ensured that women's voices were heard when the only voice that was heard at that time, regardless of their race, was the male voice. So for a change, women stood up and participated in the political dispensation of the country. So in a nutshell, I would say that this shows that women should and are equal to men in terms of ideas, views, opinions, and more attention should actually be given to women.
And so looking into where we are, Do you think that our government still play part in amplifying and fighting for the rights of women?
I believe the government and the law itself does play a part in terms of amplifying women. However, when it comes to the government, I believe they can do more. I believe what they are doing currently is not enough, and more needs to be done, and more can be done. But mostly, I believe when it comes to the law, the people themselves need to practice what is written on paper, because it is not enough that the law says this, but then when you get to workplaces as a female, you get the sense that what is written down on paper is actually not practiced, and you find yourself in the same position that even the woman of the march had fought against.
Okay, and so now let's get into your personal experience within the legal profession. And how has your experience been as a woman working in a profession that was previously male dominated?
Well, firstly, it's not easy. It has never been easy. Just entering into the profession itself, it's not easy, especially as a candidate attorney, because when we begin our legal careers, I believe everybody probably begins with the route of being a candidate attorney, and securing employment as a candidate attorney is one of the most rigorous processes one can ever be in. It is even rigorous for the males themselves, so it is even worse when you are a female candidate. You get to interviews, and the first thing you are judged on is the fact that you are a woman. How will you be able to run around, go to courts, come back, and all of that? There's always concerns about your safety, concerns about this and that, because you're a woman, as though the men's safety is not a problem at all. But on the other hand, I have been blessed with working with male colleagues that are for women empowerment, that for equality as well. So it is through those males that I actually get to learn a lot from them. And I also work with females that are much older than me, who are able to empower me, rather than maybe put the age card on the table and say, yeah, but you're young, so we don't see why we need to empower you, because there's always the age thing in the workplace. Okay. But however, I do get those ones that are actually raring for my success.
And so what are some of the challenges that you come across, and how are you navigating through those?
Well, honestly, the work environment that I currently find myself in is actually healthy. So what I've realized is that if you work in an environment that is healthy, with people who are positive-minded, even if you get criticism, because criticism is one challenge that I believe every candidate does have, because eventually you are a student, so you don't know much about practice. You are learning, you are there to learn. Hence, we have principals who are there to guide us in our learning processes. So in my environment, I have found the principal who assist me and in my learning journey and is patient with me. But however, there are those candidates who have principals who are rather reluctant to assist them in their learning process, and are rather stagnant on the fact that they should know what to do. So those are some of the challenges. But however, when you work in an environment that is healthy, that allows you to be active, that allows you to share your ideas, that allows you to learn, that has people who allow you to grow, then you are able to flourish through whatever challenges that are there.
Okay. And so with your experience, within this legal profession as a woman, the journey that you've walked and fighting to secure a spot for yourself. And if we were to say, let us implement some changes for women to find comfort in their different profession, just to broaden it a little bit further, what changes do you think should be implemented?
Well, first of all, if we look at labor laws, for instance, there have been numerous calls from various organizations for labor laws to rather be acclimatized to realizing the realities of women versus those of men, and to even the scales in the workplace. For instance, there has been a call from the South African Law Reform Commission that asked for the labor law to expand maternity leave rights by providing that self-employed workers should receive the same benefit as other workers under Section 25 of the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, which includes at least 4 consecutive months of maternity leave. I also believe that the labor law should also try and be at the same level with labor laws from other countries, so it should match international standards. For instance, in other countries, you women are granted leave such as menstruation leave. Those are things that I think should be incorporated to at least create a better working environment for women, because whether we like it or not, even if we want equality, there are certain aspects that we are naturally not equal on, if I can put it that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we talk about Women's Month, and as the Fearless Azanian Lawyers Association, you are planning to celebrate a Women's Day on the 9th of August this month.
Yes.
And so why, as the organization, do you feel like there's a need to actually celebrate this Women's Day?
Yes. Well, actually, this celebration would be mostly in relation to celebrating and acknowledging the progress that has been made so far by women in the legal fraternity. We would be looking at the historic milestones, celebrating, for instance, the first woman was admitted to the bar, the courageous efforts of advocating for women's rights, and their significant contributions to the advancement of gender equality within the profession itself, to highlight a few.
And so with this event that you will be hosting, what impact would you like to have to the lives of women?
Firstly, the aim of this event would be at the emancipation of women. Hence, the event is open even to those that are law students that are upcoming and all of that. And we will also be having some guests who are in the legal fraternity. We even invited Advocate Mchololo, who's presiding over the Senzome May you a trial.
Just to give us an eavesdrop as to when you were planning this event, what issues would you like to discuss and emphasize?
Okay, with this event, we wish to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and the political achievements of women, as well as to call for gender equality and action towards gender equality. And we believe that our guest speakers on the day will inspire and focus on creating change and look at breaking barriers as far as women are concerned.
Okay. And so I think perhaps we might end our conversation with this question of, now this is an organization, Fearless Azanian Lawyers Association, coming as an organization to say, we as the FALA organization, we are going to celebrate this Women's Day and address issues that women face within their spaces of interest. And so what do you stand for as Fearless Azanian Lawyers Association?
Okay, well, FALA is basically a non-profit and public benefit company that is constituted by members of the legal fraternity, which operates in the public interest to promote the advancement of human rights and the rule of law, whilst bringing about transformation in the legal fraternity. Although it is a newly established organization, it strives to empower the disadvantaged legal practitioners and communities as well, and to uphold the rights of those that are marginalized in our communities.
Okay. And so how should people get in touch with you if they want to be part of the event?
If they want to be part of the event, they should definitely follow us on our various social media platforms, that is on Facebook and Instagram currently. On both platforms, we are at the Fearless Azanian Lawyers Association. On Instagram, though, it is the Fearless Azanian Lawyers Association with an underscore at the end.
Okay.
They can also send us an email at info@fala.co.za should they maybe have legal issues that can be taken, especially those that are in relation with human rights that need pro bono work.
Can you please repeat the email again?
It's info@fala.co.za.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Keamogetswe. We wish you all the best with the event of celebrating Women's Day.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I wish and hope that the event would achieve the goals that it seeks to achieve, and that all women would enjoy themselves at that event and on that particular day.
Okay, thank you so much, and it's a pleasure.
Okay, thank you.